so this is a Trane package unit we just put in this morning, and they had it pretty much swapped out by about 11 o'clock. There was one replacing one that we'd installed. It was about 3 or 4 years old. Had a micro channel coil in it. Micro channel coil sprung a leak right in the middle, and Trane cannot get a coil for it. So maybe after the first of the year, they're thinking, even if that. So we did all the paperwork, and they were kind enough to supply a new system. So these people didn't have to wait till the first of the year. That was awful nice of them to do that. This is a single stage gas package unit, and for whatever reason, when in a situation like this, we've got that paperwork we have to fill out, kind of a commissioning form. Some of the numbers, I just kind of know what they are. They're kind of fixed, but just basically we need to check the operations on it, make sure the gas pressure set right, inlet pressure is correct, run it, set superheat, subcooling, temperature rise, temperature split, static airflow on it, all those good things. And you got to fill out that paperwork and then turn it in with everything else. It's just part of what they want to do. So the first thing we're going to do is I have to check the inlet gas pressure. I'm going to pop the door on the side here in a minute. I'm just curious, do we have a micro channel coil in this one? Wouldn't that be fun? Yep. Another micro channel coil. Hope they have better luck with this one. But I'm gonna check this gas pressure. I keep my little Allen keys stuck to the back on the magnet on the back of my manometer. I use a digital manometer to check the gas pressure on those things. I do have the field piece job link set, the static pressure transducers, the wireless ones, Bluetooth ones, all that. But they don't react when you're trying to check gas pressure. You're making your adjustments on it, and by the time it picks it up and gets it to your phone, it's like 4, 5, 6 seconds sometimes. There's just a big delay in that. So when I'm setting gas pressures, I just use a good old-fashioned digital manometer, and I just strictly use those if I'm doing a system performance evaluation. Throw them in there on the plenums and check my statics, so all that stuff. And in that particular scenario, I want to use that Measure Quick app, where I do a total system performance evaluation. I'm not doing that here. And my third air probe that I would have outside getting wet bulb and all that mess is actually at home. So go figure. But anyway, this is something kind of simple, but we have to do it. So I'm connected here. I'm gonna turn my gas shut off back on, see what our inlet is. Inlet is 8.2 right there. Let's see what the data plate is telling us we need. So, water column, inlet pressure, minimum. So our max gas supply pressure is 13 inches of water column, and our minimum is 5. So at 8, we're just fine. That is going to be good. So now I can turn this thing on, get the inlet gas pressure set on it. Temperature rise on it. And you only have to crack these. You don't have to pull these fittings all the way out. So zero my manometer. And I'm just going to simply come up here. Jump it out. I will get one of the air probes I do have out so I can check my outdoor temperature accurately. I mean, I could use my, I think if I'm not mistaken, there's a place on there for wet bulb, and I'm going to need that. Turn the gas back on. So, got my probe here. Just going ahead and give this information. I'll need it. Want to check my refrigerant charge, outdoor wet bulb. About 55 degrees. Humidity's 51. Outdoor dry bulb 64. Take a screenshot of that, because I'll need that information to fill in some blanks on my paperwork. So our gas pressure is 3.5. I typically will use the sticker on the side of the gas valve, which it is so hard to read that thing. It's the smallest print. If you put it up here somewhere, just put it on that one. It'll tell you on the side of the unit 3.3 or 3.5, but I like to typically see what the gas valve says on it. And that's going to say 3.3. See what the sticker says. Sticker also says 3.3. So I am going to set this gas pressure back down to 3.3. With these package units, downstairs system. Downstairs heat runs more than your upstairs heat because hot air rises. You're always trying to keep the downstairs warm. You get a real cold night down in the teens, and your gas, and I've seen it plenty of times, your gas pressure is supposed to be 3.3, in some cases 3.2, and somebody has it set at 3.5, 3.6, then you get a real long run time back to back to back on a 17, 18 degree night. You start tripping the high limit on these things. So you really want to make sure you're on point with your gas pressure on your downstairs units. So we are now at 3.3. So we are good on our gas pressure. Not turn that off. Break the valve, the heat valves. If you use the switch on the gas valve, you're 50-50 to get it to come back on. All I need to do is get this off real quick. Tighten my fitting back so I don't have a flamethrower. Turn the shut-off back on. Let this thing fire back off. While I'm here, I also have to get that paperwork. Incoming voltage, and no, I'm not using the Testman. So 246, and then there's a place they want you to check each leg to ground, which is fine. 123, 122. So we're good on our voltage. It's just odd that they don't make you fill one of these commissioning forms out on every system you install, just when they make the decision to supply another new system to replace a newer unit that you're having problems with, and they can't get the part for it. It's just a bad part, basically. But they want to make sure it's set up properly, so it is what it is. So we're going to go get our temperature split real quick on these package units. What I like to do is I just come over here and pop a screw out. Now this is a new temperature probe I'm trying out. This is Trane. It has a IR infrared thermometer on it for pointing and getting maybe some air and surface temperatures, and a little red light on it. Don't know that I need that, but saw it at Home Depot, thought I'd try it out. And I've got 2 UEIs and a field piece, so I've got plenty of these, but I don't know, probably one of those days I bought something I probably didn't need to spend money on. I think it was about $20 for this. It was cheaper than a damn field piece and does more. I thought that might have been $29. So anyway, so we're gonna go in here and we will get our return temperature, which is about 66. I mean, it's 61 degrees outside. When I went in there, they had the thermostat set on 67. So evidently they like it chilly in the house, which, I mean, I keep my heat set at 66 anyway. I don't run the heat very hard in the wintertime. But so I've got a 66 degree return. Let's go see what our supply is. The only thing I don't like about it is not a magnet. Like my UEI had a magnet on the back, I could put it at a 90-degree angle and stick it to the plenum or stick it to the side of something. But anyway, slide that out. You don't want to get right up against your heat exchanger. And this is a 70,000 input, 56,000 output. About a 40-degree rise. So the design max outlet is 160. And they put your rise on this thing at 30 to 60 degree rise right there. And we're at 42. 40, almost at 45. So we are 46, 47. So we're going to be right in the middle, about a 47, 48 degree rise. So we are good on that. I don't have to get any amp draws on that paperwork, but I'm going to let the heat run just a couple more minutes, and then we're going to run this thing in air conditioning and get all those numbers, and that'll be it. Alrighty, so we've got this thing running and cooling. Got the book here. I'm going to compare some things. I've checked the static on it. We're right at a 0.5 static on this. Back to there. There's no subcooling. Typically the outdoor units will give you a target subcooling. This one doesn't. Some of the units would sometimes put it in a little box here in the book. This one just gives you pressure curves. So not quite sure where we're going to be on our target subcooling. Let me see if it says anything down there. Discharge, suction. This is 3 or 2.5 ton. Find the intersection. Just tells you how to use the chart on it. I don't see anything on here unless it's in some small obscure print somewhere. I don't see anything that has anything about subcooling. So we've got the pressure curves. I'm going to be under the assumption that this is a brand new system and we are going to be good. It's 62 degrees outside. It's 68 degrees inside. A 109 and a 217. A 14, almost 15 degree superheat and 8 degree subcool. We're going to check our temperature split. I know it's 60. Roughly 60 whatever inside, so let's go check our supply. Check our blower performance chart with our statics. Our CFMs are right on target for heating and cooling, with cooling in medium speed, heating in high. We're just under 1,000 CFM in cooling, which is about right in that target range of 400 CFM per ton. And our heating CFMs were 1,042. So we're going to be fine on our airflow. A 0.5 static is fine. And we have a temperature split here, which is probably going to be pretty low or pretty high split, however you want to call it. Low supply temperature, but we're going to be at about a 22 degree split on this. It's a brand new unit, unless they ran over a speed bump when they were delivering this and cracked another hole in a cheap micro-channel coil. You look at one of those coils, it'll start leaking. But we're going to call this good. I mean, it is what it is. Make sure you always get your subcooling reading from this pipe up here. That's your actual liquid line going back to the coil. Don't hook up to that. That's hot. Hook up to this line up here to get your subcooling. See, I've got my probe hooked there. They do put a discharge fitting there, but you want to hook up to your liquid line in these Trane package units. That's the proper location to hook up to. So anyway, guys, this is all because of a leaking micro-channel coil that the manufacturer cannot get their hands on. Go figure. Apparently, you know, this one has the micro-channel in it. You saw that. They have them at the factory to assemble a new system, but they don't have one to replace one that's leaking. That doesn't make sense to me. Get one from the factory. Just because one of your supply houses or none of your supply locations have one, you're putting them together at the factory. Get one from there. Anyway, guys, like, subscribe. Appreciate you watching. Super thanks. And we'll see you around the corner.